Hey fellow Rangers, it's me, Mario. Today, this week, we're going to talk about 1B, Sandcom building of our series, and there's not much to say about it. So, first off, this building does cost 1 builder, and it has 1 green hand. So again, as its brethren 1A, it's going to get built in almost every game by every player. It's just so good. It's a good taxer. You can place it whenever you want. As always, you prefer to place it on the other sides of the hazard spots so that you can tax people because people are going to pass through your hand instead of passing the other way around. So they're going to pay you 1 coin each time they pass through. And that's already pretty good. And that's pretty much it. Because the other two parts of these buildings are really underwhelming. I think, again, in hundreds of games, I probably activated this building once, maybe twice, and I'm not even sure that I activated it twice, actually. This is because, I mean, minus 1 step on the rails for 3 coins is not incredibly bad. It's still something you really don't want to take. Like, often enough, you want to take your auxiliary action and pay 1 coin to move the train 1 step forward. So getting 1 step backwards to gain 3 coins, it's really bad. And the second half of it might as well not exist. Let's talk a bit about objectives since, I mean, there's really not much to talk about in this building. So objectives in this game are alright. They are not a big part of your scoring, not pretty much ever. They are good to get incidentally, but you don't really want to activate buildings just to get them, at least most of the time. Like this building is, we're going to talk about it, but it's not amazing. Let's just say that. So the same can be said about this building. Most of the time you're going to get a certificate from this spot and not an objective. The reason is twofold. First, you really want certificates early on so that you will be able to reach in time Chicago so that you can unlock your extra movement and the extra coins, which is by far the best unlock you can get with Black Disc. And the other point is that early on it's pretty hard to know which objectives you can score actually. So sometimes you know you're going to go for engineers and then getting this building might be fine, but how do you get the hazards? Like getting hazards from this building over here, MBF, is not great until the very late game. So it's pretty hard to know what you're going to fulfill. Like this building is probably a safe, this objective is probably a safe bet, but you never know. And you don't really want to play objectives early for this reason because they might be worth negative points. Even though they're going to give you resources, they might be worth negative points and you don't really want to play them. So what happens in most competitive games, in most high-level games, is that you see people getting objectives from connecting Bloomington to Peoria and Peoria to Chicago. So you're going to get 2 objectives from these 2 spots, plus the objectives you start with. And if you can fulfill 2 of them in total, that's already pretty good, I would say. The game is really fast, so you don't have time to focus on too many of them. So let's say you grab, by the way, you don't really want to connect Fulton to St. Louis in most games because of the minus 3 points. So let's just keep thinking about Bloomington, Peoria, Peoria into Chicago, shall we? So you're going to get these 2 certificates, these 2 objectives. Normally you deliver to Kansas City 2 times in a game. Then you might, actually you aim to go to Chicago straight up, but if you can't, maybe you go something like, let's say you can go Peoria into Chicago, something like that. So you're going to get your first objective by the end of the 4th loop, and your second objective by the end of the 5th, maybe, because actually in many strategy you want to hit Toledo first. So you're going to get these objectives pretty late. And this is an early game building, and you cannot plan to stop on it too much because you're setting up your perfect loop, and on your perfect loop, if you're an engineer, you want to stop here and here. If you're a cowboy, you want to stop getting heads and stopping here. If you're a builder, you want to stop here and then switch to something else probably. So you don't really have time most of the time to stop over here unless it's the early game and you're forced to do that because all the other spots got built and you have to stop somewhere. So you basically never discard an objective on this card. I really think it never happened to me in my whole career to discard an objective or here. Because most of the time, if I got an objective and I've already fulfilled it, I'm just going to play it and it's going to go into the objective zone. So there are too many things that have to go your way. You have to already have an objective. It's going to be probably late and you have to stop on 1B instead of doing some great stop on the best buildings for your strategy, which are the move a train buildings for engineers, the builder building for a builder, and the cow market for a cowboy. And third, you have to hit the objective exactly when you want to stop on 1B. So you have to have it in your hand exactly when you stop on 1B. And this is very difficult because, again, most of the time, if you have an objective you've already fulfilled, you're just going to play it. So it's not easy to get it back in your hand. So while the ability is for sure incredibly strong, because discarding one objective to get two certificate is very strong, two certificates are worth quite a bit most of the time. I still think that this building just sucks. You should just play it for the hand and not bother about the ability. And I think I've already spent too many words on this building, unfortunately. So we're going to talk about buildings again on Thursday, I think. And on Thursday night, hopefully, I will finally be able to start streaming Great Western Trail again. To that, see you guys. Bye bye. Myra's out.